Did you watch that Stanley Cup final? I know you had called it out, dude, and I honestly I can't believe they came back from 3-0 just to lose in the last game.
It's heartbreaking.
You know, it's crazy. Watched a little bit, 3-0. Watched them come back 3-3, and I did not watch Game 7 at all. I missed it. So you can say, if you're an Edmonton fan, it's probably my fault.
This is on you, dude.
I also didn't watch the last game, to be honest with you, but I did want to ask, like, what do you think is worse, losing a major tournament final or losing the first 3 games in a 7-game series, winning the next 3, and then losing the final match?
I'd go with the cup final probably. If it was at home, it was in Florida, so like I think that helps a little bit. It was an away game, but cup finals terrible, man. You go through the whole run, the whole tournament. It's one game, 90 minutes, and you lose it. That's tough.
Yeah, I'd say that's worse too, especially like depending on the performance, right? Because at least, you know, in a 7-game series with Edmonton coming back from down 3-0, like at least they showed like a significant amount of fight, right? Like that's what you want out of your team. But if it's a cup final and it's just one and done, that's so crappy. It's just such a bad feeling.
I guess, by the way I asked the question, it's pretty obvious I disagree with both of you, because I feel like a 7-game series and you're down 3, you work so hard to come back and you even the series, and then you lose the last one. That's the thing where it's like, why are we even putting people through this? Like, I have to ask, like, I might as just have one game. You're right. Maybe the pain is a little worse if it's a one-off, but I don't know. I disagree. I think going through the 7-game, the roller coaster of emotion, it's unnecessary. That's unfair to the players.
You know what's even worse? That Super Bowl between the Falcons and the Patriots, where the Falcons were up. What was it? 28 to 3, and then they lost the game. So it's a one and done. It's one game. You're up 28-3. You can taste it, right? The champagne's on your lips, man. And then they lost the game. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's by far the worst, I think. Like, that's a horrible feeling, right? Matt Ryan feels so good. You know, you're up against the GOATs. There's like, what, 17 minutes of regulation left total? You just freaking blow it. Your whole season, your whole glory, your legacy, just in the ground.
Gone just like that, dude. I think the silver lining is that I guess a lot of our listeners in the UK are used to losing leads. So maybe we can just get started with the show from that.
Savage.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another District Gooner Pod, episode 52. I'm KP, and we are continuing our coverage of Euro 2024 and Copa America with a few Arsenal and Manchester City talking points sprinkled in. Steven, my co-host, say hi to folks.
Howdy. Coming to you on a Friday. So I hope everybody has a good weekend. Should be catching this on a Saturday. And guess who's back? We just can't get rid of this dude. What's up, Ron?
Hey, good to be back. Love being on here. Love sharing the points. Even with all the gotcha journalism, it's great to be here.
So I guess the best place to start is Panama 2, United States of America 1. I think this was the only pod in the world that said, watch out for Panama. The U.S. might not make it out of this group. I just hope that you're learning to respect the vibes, dude. That's all, man. How you feeling, big guys?
Go ahead, Ron.
What a disgrace. Berhalter should not be allowed back into that locker room. Weah, what a letdown. what a head loss moment to get a red card inside 20 minutes and just completely messed up the rest of the game. Super disappointing. It looks like the USA has to get a result from Uruguay when they play soon, and they need Bolivia to hold off Panama as well. If we get grouped, that's a horrible showing. But maybe, just maybe, and I'm not the first to say this, maybe it saves our World Cup, because maybe that football terrorist, Greg Berhalter, won't be managing this squad anymore.
That's the silver lining. That's the only silver lining here. We called it out. It's one of those things. Everybody knows it. Guy's terrible. Not a good manager. Then you look up north. They got Jesse Marsh, American. Canada's looking good. They're not as good as a team as us. They don't have the players, but they're looking good. That dude's just not a good coach. Terrible game. 18 minutes, red card. Woof. I mean, it's Panama. I think they said they won. That's their third win in 27 games against us. Woof. Ouch. So get the red card. We go up. Beautiful goal by Flo. That was sick. That was a sick goal.
Flo's been on fire this tournament, bro. 2 for 2, man. 2 for 2.
And he looked really good. He actually looked really good. He was aggressive, held the ball up well. I mean, I think he probably could have stayed on. He still looked good. He's running hard. Anyway, so we score. Within 5 minutes, they come back, score on us. Damn. Tough. It wasn't a great goal, but you take it. Halftime comes. We're playing a 4-4-1. This man puts 5 in the back, takes off some of our boys, goes 5 in the back, leaves on our outside backs as now wing backs. Interesting. We got nothing. There was no offensive pressure applied until the 80th minute? We're sitting back. I don't know. It's just crazy. Berhalter out for sure. This is the silver lining. Uruguay's gonna spank us. I think we're done.
Is that the bottom line for you, that the manager out? Because I read this quote from him post game that said, and this is Berhalter, "I can't fault the effort of the group, especially after going down a man. These guys dug in and we were close to coming out with a point. But it's a shame because there was more in this game, and a silly decision by Timmy leaves us shorthanded. Then you have the whole thing that's going on with the referee throughout the game, and it leaves us shorthanded. So it led to some strange circumstances for sure." What do you think about that take from the manager? Because to me, it sounds like, one, he's putting a lot of the blame on Tim Weah, which I get it. It was a poor decision. But then the whole refereeing thing was a really strange call out from him for me, because I watched the game. I didn't really see a lot wrong with the referee. You guys did?
Whoa.
That's horrible.
Whoa. That's actually insane from you. You know what's crazy is I have a few links I was going to share based on the referee. This guy, what's his name? Is it Bartone?
Yeah, Bartone.
Bartone. When you think of an US playing a game, he's the referee I see. I always see it. This little guy, he's got a lot of flair, pizzazz about him. He flutters around the pitch. But let's read these stats here.
Can I just really quickly preface that I was at a fun softball game and I was just watching the game on my phone, it's just in the background. So maybe I missed some decisions, but go ahead, drop the links, bro.
So this is from Alex Calabrese. It's on X. In the last 4 matches refereeing the U.S. men's national team, Ivan Bartone has handed out 7 red cards. He also refereed the Honduras controversial shootout loss to Mexico in November, which was crazy. He's rightfully under scrutiny. So 7 red cards in 4 games. Does that make any sense? That's crazy, right? I mean, it's CONCACAF, but that's madness.
This guy has a history of losing control of games. I know CONCACAF is crazy. I mean, we've seen the matches. It's not just a singular ref issue, but he is by far the worst one. And he loses control of these matches. He lets people get away with some of these fouls. Like that foul on Matt Turner, that was so bad. and there was no card produced for that, he could have got seriously injured by that. He kind of messed up his neck already. And so, I mean, I think that he let a lot of stuff go. And then obviously the red card is still a red card. Like, I'm not complaining about that call whatsoever. But if you allow these players to do these things, like, of course, maybe he wants the spotlight on him. He wants the opportunity to give out these reds and things like that. He has a lot of flair and he's smiling big as hell when he's making all these calls and stuff like that. You can tell he loves the camera and whatnot. So maybe that's what he wants, the opportunity to give out these reds. And so he'll let all the small stuff go and the medium stuff go until it's time to make a big call. And that's what he does. And so, I don't know. The ref, I think, gets in the way of what could be a good match. And, I mean, the USA just fell into the trap of another CONCACAF match. And, I think that's on the manager as well. Like, if you don't prepare the boys enough for that kind of thing, and yeah, it was a Timmy Weah head loss moment, but we have to be smart of that. We have to be better than that.
All right, here's the other link here. From X, Galazzo America. Panama committed 19 fouls against the U.S., resulting in 3 cards. The U.S. national team committed 4 fouls, resulting in 3 cards in the match.
And one of them was a red, huh?
And yeah, so each team got a red card. Both deserved the red, like 100%. But a lot of transition fouls where we're trying to get away. Balogun was fouled, I'm going to say, probably around 5 times. Kind of the same stuff where he's spinning somebody and they're just holding his jersey or like grabbing his arm. And he's asking, you can see him on camera, like asking, like, how many, man? Like, how many? And then the U.S., it just doesn't make sense. This ref, he's terrible. I understand CONCACAF. They play U.S., be physical, be as dirty as you can, slow down the game. We have the better players, like, I get that, but it's like, this is over the top. It just doesn't make sense.
I will be honest with you. The little bits that I watched, obviously, Panama just did not look good. And I wouldn't be surprised if they do, like, drop points or potentially lose to Bolivia. Bolivia are terrible. They lost 5-0 to Uruguay on Thursday night. And the U.S. game, I mean, the U.S. were looking like some world-class players out there, right? Like, Pulisic was on his, what do you say, Steven? These P's and Q's?
P's and Q's.
He was all over it, man. But I think it's tough, dude. I can't, personally, right now, at this moment in time, I don't see the U.S. coming out of the group. Do you feel differently?
I agree with you. I think it's a done deal. That's a big one, man. You had to at least draw that game. If they draw, I think they come out of it. Panama, that dude that got the red card to me was their best player of the night, that center midfielder. He controlled it for him. He's really good. But I think they're going to handle Bolivia. They are going to be on their P's and Q's because they're not someone that ever advances in these tournaments. So, like, I think Panama's going to be up for it.
Yeah, I think we'll really, really have to fight to get any sort of result against Uruguay. And, after a 5-0 win against Bolivia, like, and we could have probably won against Bolivia 5-0 as well. So, I mean, fair is fair.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, Uruguay, I think, are a different monster than both of the teams that we played in this group so far. And so my hopes are not high, especially when Weah is one of our better players. He's probably at least top 3 amongst the whole squad. So it's so disappointing.
That's crazy. I called him as our one to watch. Watch him throw a punch in someone's head. Yo, but you know what? If it was Bruno G, he might have gotten away with it. So,
dude, your one to watch record is questionable, mate. But let me ask you this. So, I agree with you. I think Uruguay. It's not even like they're gonna come into that game like, oh, we've already clinched it, so we don't need to try that hard. I don't peg them to be those kind of players. They're very intense, dude. They're very up for it. I was watching that game last night. Who I have to say, Darwin Núñez, another person who's having a very good Copa America tournament, dude. Good shout, Ron.
Thank you. He loves the chaos, dude.
He does, dude. But a player that's really caught my eye, and this is just me daydreaming, dude. This transfer would never happen in a million years. But wow, dude. Freddy Valverde. What a player, bro. Unbelievable, man. Huge fan.
Isn't it just Fetty?
Is it?
Yeah.
No, his name is Frederick.
I thought it was Federico.
I think it's Fede, Fede.
Yeah.
What did I call him? Freddie?
Yeah.
I kind of
I knew who you were
knew
talking
you
about.
said-
I wasn't gonna correct you.
I like it. Good. Hey, it's all about the fact checks on the pod, dude. Where would we be without fact checks, dude? This pod is coming to you from Washington D.C. So I'll tell you something, man. Put the football aside for a second. Thursday night, that debate, presidential debate, dude. For anyone who's listening, I gotta be honest with you. My only message is watch it for yourself, make up your own mind, and it's just always with civic engagement, because don't rely on the clips, right? Because if you rely on the clips, then you're the type of person who watches a Mudryk compilation and thinks that's $100 million player. So that's the message of the day. Watch and pay attention for yourself, make up your own mind. But wow, tough debate. Did you guys watch any of it?
It was horrible to watch. So yes, I watched all of it. Put me to sleep last night, so I had to rewind and catch the rest of it this morning. But that was a snooze fest and really just a depressing affair altogether.
I think I'm going over to my local nursing home tomorrow morning, so I will get the gist of it.
Some volunteering time you're putting in?
I'm going to put two of them on the stage and give them a topic. Go. One that stays awake wins.
It's like, what is it? What do they do in improv when they pull something out of a hat? It's one of those sessions, dude. That'll be fun. All right, let's get back to the football, man. Let's round out Copa. Have you guys been watching any of the Copa games other than the U.S.? Canada's a good shout. I watched both of their games, and they ended up beating Chile, I think, 1-0. So I am impressed with what Jesse Marsch is doing and then getting out of the squad. I still back Canada to come out of that group.
Canada's cool, man. Canada's tight. I'm jealous. I'm just like, I think they're kind of in the same vein as us. I think they're very athletic. They have athletic players, and they play to their strengths, man. They're all about the counterattack. They're all pace, all gas, no brakes. Like, we can possess, sure, but we're not great at it. So, like, why would we do that? You got Jonathan David. That dude that comes on as a sub, he looks like a schoolboy. But he's actually been playing really. Not Buchanan. He's a white guy. Starts with the S.
Oh, number
It's like
14,
Slatter or
I think you're
something.
talking about.
Yeah,
number
I think that's
14
it.
is good, bro. Yeah.
He comes on a sub. He looks like a church boy, but he's fast. So yeah, I'm back in Canada. I typically go for CONCACAF teams bar Mexico in a lot of tournaments. I just do because rep the region. So I guess I'm gonna be going for Panama too.
And they just lost. Mexico just lost. Was that on Wednesday, I believe? 1-0 to Venezuela. I caught the end of that match. I mean, that's always fun to see. Brazil didn't look super great in their Copa debut, or their first match against Costa Rica, a 0-0 draw. Ronaldinho out there somewhere crying, feeling very upset about the product that he's watching. So it's been good. It's been fun.
The games are very fun. The Colombians are playing tonight. Steven, are you going to be watching?
I probably will. Colombia, Costa Rica. That might be a good one. And then after that, it's Brazil, Paraguay. Might not catch that one. I think I'd rather watch the Colombia, Costa Rica. I'll be going for Costa Rica, even though I gave Colombia my shout for team of the tournament. I got to go with my heart here.
Yeah, I'll tell you who has looked terrible is Jamaica. I watched both of their games, and well, I didn't watch them. I had them around just in the background, or I caught some highlights, and yeah, it's tough. I was really backing Mikel Antonio to have a good little tournament, but it doesn't look like he's surrounded by much. I thought they would at least be good defensively, but all over the place. That's the very fun thing about Copa, is the games are all over the place, and I do enjoy that.
They are all over the place, different style. I'm surprised Leon Bailey's not playing. I just checked their match against Ecuador.
Yeah, dude, there's this clip of him at a concert partying. So it's this guy was supposed to be the boy for Jamaica, and he's out here at a concert. So I don't know. I don't really know why he is not participating in the Copa.
Wagwan.
That's funny, dude. All right, man. Well, I feel like that's a pretty good Copa round out. Anything else you want to shout out, or should we go across the pond to how everything's playing out in Europe?
Let's go swimming.
Okay, so the round of 16 bracket is officially finalized for Euros, and on one side of the table, you have Spain playing Georgia, Germany, Denmark, Portugal, Slovenia, France, and Belgium. And then the other side, you have Romania, Netherlands, Austria, Turkey, England, Slovenia, and Switzerland, Italy. Right off the bat, as I looked a path to the trophy, I would just call out and say Switzerland could be very possible to get to the trophy.
That's not a bad shout. That's really not. I mean, looking at the bracket, the way the brackets are set up. So I'm going to go just name off the 8 teams on the right side that I have here. So Romania, Netherlands, Austria, Turkey, England, who's
Slovakia.
Ooh, that's Slovakia, okay. Switzerland and Italy. That's the 8. That's the easier side of the two, obviously. That's the much easier side. So you could name Italy, Switzerland, England. You want to throw your Turkey boys in there, Keon? Like it's really not that tough. I think there's a clear path.
It's really hard. You know who's definitely going to fumble the path is the Netherlands. I think Holland, like realistically speaking, from their side, they should be in the semis pretty easily, and they should probably be in the final. But I worry they're going to fumble this whole thing. I wouldn't be surprised if Romania take them to extra time, 2 extra halves. But on the Turkey, Austria, I'm so sad that these 2 teams are meeting in the first round of the bracket, because they're both just have really, I think, inspired footballing fans throughout the country, man. They're so great, I think, and it's a tough one. I worry Austria's going to win. I want Turkey to win, but I worry Austria's going to pull it out. And it's like Ralph Rangnick, by the way. Gotta give him a shout out on the pod, dude.
Yeah. I'm going Austria there. I think they're watching a few of their games. There's something there. Like, they just seem like they have the spirit. They have a team spirit right now. So I'm going Austria in that matchup.
They look like they know how they want to play. Like, I feel like they have a clear identity in terms of their offensive patterns and their defensive structure and things like that. Ranić, I mean, shout out to him. Maybe United should have just kept him, you know.
Maybe, dude, but I agree with you. I've watched the Turkey games a lot, and every game, they're defensively, they look very exposed. So I think Austria's going to take advantage of that. And yeah, they're just more professional and maybe seeing a game out. Turkey in their very last game of the group stage was so nervous, I felt like, to just try to get the draw to qualify. Romania, Netherlands, like I said, I'm backing Netherlands to win that matchup, but I don't know. I feel like it could go either way. I guess I want to save England, Slovakia for the last one, but Switzerland, Italy, it's an interesting one. But yeah, like I said, I'm backing Switzerland. Do you have a favorite in that one?
I think I'm with you. I'm going Switzerland there. And that's just from me watching Spain beat the brakes off of them. If I hadn't seen that, I'd probably go Italy, but the way they got spanked, I would rather not see them move further because I know they're not going to make it. So go on, Swiss.
I picked the Swiss as well. I feel like Italy's offensive output just is not there, right? Like, they don't... Scamacca is okay, I guess, but I don't think that they're really consistent in scoring goals. I mean, like, the goal that they scored against Croatia was kind of a transition, fast break, you know. It was a great goal, to be fair, but I don't know if they have that in them during the whole match, to be honest.
I hear you. Let's stay with you, Ron, and go into the England-Slovakia matchup and just England's overall chances of making it to the final. I mean, the path would be Switzerland or Italy next, and then maybe Netherlands or Austria. So the path looks pretty promising. Maybe Southgate has been playing 4D chess this whole time, but what do you think about it?
I think it might be coming home still. Like, it's crazy. I mean, they limped out of their group as leaders. I mean, you got to win the group, and that's what they did. While also being the least impressive big team or big name squad in this whole competition. And so, I mean, they won their group, so they have a weaker matchup, and they also have the weaker side of the bracket. So, I'm picking England. So we'll see how they do, but I feel like they'll hopefully get better. But it's been horrible to watch.
What you think?
I think it all depends on what changes they make. And that's why I want to ask you if you've seen their reaction to what Ian Wright has suggested about maybe putting Saka at left back to allow Palmer to come into the team. What do you think about that? Some of the reactions I saw online, I mean, I saw people saying Ian Wright is a disgrace. I think it was like someone with a username, I think like at Jeff AFC. I mean, at Jeff AFC, bro. I don't know where you get off to call Ian Wright a disgrace, but this is what you get when everyone can just share their thoughts, man.
That dude's a clown.
You know who that is?
Yeah, dude. He's on my timeline all the time.
He's a City guy. Oh, City fans be like that. Understood. But I think that's what are you talking about? I have a little stat here from Football FTBL. Okay, it's just like one of those social media accounts. It says Foden, right, in the group stage. Passes made to Harry Kane, 1. Passes made to Jordan Pickford, 3. It's like that's in itself. I don't know why is Saka the one having to be sacrificed, right? Why sacrifice him?
Well, and that's been the talking point that a lot of, I feel like Arsenal media, Arsenal podcasters have like kind of already pre-exposing people to the idea and like trying to get them to like maybe potentially accept the idea of Saka playing left back. But I hear you. I think left wing, maybe, but left back, I think the left back talking point, Steven, you've mentioned on the pod before that when you watch an England game, you just think, wow, they cannot build out. And I wonder how much of that has to do with a right-footed left back, because the passing options of that player are just a little bit limited. And I wonder how much that's affecting their build-out phase.
I think he's too timid. He's too conservative. There's so many options that he has, and I don't know why he won't take any. I'm talking about Southgate, right? Everybody has their own opinion in the media. Ian Wright, everybody has their own opinion. But it seems I don't understand why throw it out again and again and again. You're getting the same results, the same, I guess, output from these guys. Like, I missed the last game, but like, how did Gallagher?
Not well.
How did he do in the center mid?
You know who did play well? Kobe Mainu. When they brought him on in the second half of that game, because Gallagher got subbed out right at 45, dude, to start the second half. So the next 45 that Mainu got, it actually looked like, hey, they're passing the ball. Like, hey, someone out here is trying to progress some of the passes and like check into the defense, like get the ball off of them and move it forward. It was very interesting.
I get major Berhalter vibes from Southgate. We have Plan A, and we have Plan A, Plan A1, A2. It's all the same. It's just the same plan over and over. It doesn't make sense to me. Not a good manager, in my opinion. I don't know how he got that job, but putting Saka at the left back. Go ahead and do it, but like when it backfires on you, bro, like, I mean, can you blame Ian Wright at that point? I don't know.
So, I mean, I took that as more of a reflection of the ineptness of Trippier at left back rather than, anything going wrong with Saka, because I think that is a good point, right? If you play Saka at left back and if you play Walker at right back, right, like as he has been playing, can Saka have the freedom to move forward and then kind of form a back three with Gahey, Stones, and Walker? I think that could be a possibility. I think, again, it falls back on the team selection, too, with Southgate. Why did they bring Luke Shaw? He's not fit to play. They had Chilwell. They had Lewis Hall as well. Like, people that play left back. It's honestly a disgrace knowing that you have a lot of English left backs that were left behind. And I don't really rate Lewis Hall. I don't really rate, Chilwell all that much, but they can do a job at left back and do a lot better kind of moving forward than Trippier is. Because if you look at Trippier play, he's always going to be cutting inside. He's not trying out his left foot really all that often. He's cutting inside, looking to that inside option. And so he's very predictable out there as well. So Saka, at least at left back, again, I don't necessarily agree with it as a whole, but, he would do a better job, I think, with balancing the attack, because I feel like that left side, especially with Foden coming inside because that's where he wants to be, and then Trippier also coming in inside as well, like that left side is pretty much non-existent. So there's a lot of problems here that I don't think that's a bad decision or a bad idea by Ian Wright by any means, but again, it's a problem that Southgate I don't think will solve during this tournament.
I will say 3 group games, they've been scored on once, right? So you gotta take that into account. To me, it's why can't we? You're solidified in the back, whether that's Declan Rice and whoever your other center mid is, plus your back line. Like, they have a solid base, so why not take the chances? I'm still a believer in the center mid thing. I just think they need somebody else there. Maybe they need to play 2 up top. Like, has Harry Kane been that guy? Is he shown maybe he's a little past it now? He's getting older. I don't know, but they need to change something up top. So in those 3 games, I'm saying they have 1 goal against them. They have 2 goals for them. That's also not great. So if I'm a fan of England, I'm sick. I can't believe you haven't experimented enough to like try something else. That's a great shout. Playing a right back at left back. Trippier's a great player. I like him a lot. Mm-hmm. But like, imagine being a left back for that country. You're a professional. Like, I think I could do better in this position and make it work more than this guy, even though he's the star player and English fans love him. Like, no, play someone in the correct position, right? It's craziness.
And that's what you've seen like throughout this whole tournament as well, right? Like, he's trying to shoehorn the better players into the team for the sake of getting the better players into the team, right? Trent Alexander-Arnold in the center, right? Phil Foden out left, right? Bellingham playing a 9, right? Like, or playing the 10. Like, are we not thinking about these things? Are we not thinking about, like, if Foden needs to be sacrificed, which I don't agree with, I think that Bellingham should just play alongside Rice and, Foden play at the 10 and play an actual left wing. But if he needs to be sacrificed for the sake of the structure of the team, then that's what needs to happen. I don't think that Southgate has the balls to do that. And that's I think that's the most damning thing for him as well.
Say it with your chest. Dang. One thing I've always wondered is like the competition they play in qualifiers and things like that. You're playing like, was it San Marino and teams like that? That's who in their region. It's like they're just dominating these teams because they're so much better. Now they play real teams. I always think that's why South American teams play better. Like in tournaments, I always back the South American teams. I think European teams, I think, like to think they're better, but like the competition these South American teams play on their qualifiers, like it's tough. It's tough matchups week in, week out. There's no late. I guess Bolivia, would be considered your team that can lay down, but versus teams in Europe when you're playing small countries and they just dominate them. Like maybe you should have experimented more when you're playing these big dogs, real teams, and it's not working for you.
It's all very interesting, and I think watching the tournament, I personally have been wondering, how much do managers hold back in the first round or the second round of tournament matches to just save stuff for later? Because international teams, I mean, how much practice time and game time do they have as is? So how much tape and resources there for the other opposition to study you? And I do wonder, like when Turkey were playing Portugal, Goulet didn't play until the last 15 minutes. Things like that I do wonder of, like, well, it's only the second game of the tournament. We already won the first one. Maybe we'll save some of our other looks for the next round. I don't know if that's me just giving the benefit of the doubt to a Southgate. You know, I think the England fans would know more about that. I do feel like sometimes maybe these managers are playing 4D chess, jokes aside, to just try to hold back some of their looks and formations in the first couple of rounds.
That's fair. I mean, we don't know what the ins and outs are. I do think England is a very, I guess they're surrounded by a lot of toxicity. And I guess it's from their media, the pressure from their countrymen. It seems like there's just always a ton of pressure for them. So having good performances, to me, it's very important because now they're not getting backed, right? There's comments about Rice back home, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's just, it seems like it can become very toxic very fast, and it has become toxic.
Did you guys see that? Did you guys see the players speaking out before their very last game of the group and kind of trying to check media and check some of the talking points coming out of the pundits? What did you think about that?
I think that's so interesting because what are they supposed to say, right? Like when I'm watching, some of these clips from BBC or from, was it ITV as well? Like, I don't think that anyone's saying anything unfair, right? I listened to the Rest is Football with Lineker and Shearer and Micah Richards as well. And Kane spoke out specifically to Shearer and to Lineker saying like, oh, well, they haven't won anything either, that kind of thing, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, what are they supposed to say? Are they supposed to watch these performances and be like, yeah, England's great, they're doing wonderful, right? Because they're not, right? And I think that it would be a disservice to their audience that also probably knows that they look bad. And so are they just supposed to kiss their butts essentially and say like, oh yeah, we back them completely? And they are saying that even when there's criticism involved. So, I mean, I don't really understand the hit out towards the media. You have to look inward, when this kind of thing is going on. Like, you can't necessarily blame it on, oh, well, we're not backed by the country or we're not backed by the media, like blah, blah, blah. Like at the end of the day, you're on the pitch and you're not playing well. And I think that you know that, and I think everybody knows that. So step up.
I feel like it's important if you're talking about your country's team to not be specific about players and keep it as on a team basis and the manager. I think the manager is the one that you should be attacking. And this is as a former player, right? You were in those situations. I think this is a problem for England repetitively, is like this media thing. It's like, as a former player, I would hope you have respect for the players. I'm not going to pick someone out and be like, you're not doing your job, you're being terrible. Point it to the manager. You need to fix this. This is your job, your problem. And then, like you're saying, Ron, team as a whole, right? Maybe you guys aren't performing well, your chemistry isn't there. And then, yeah, in your locker room, you can be like, hey, let's talk about that. Let's shut this dude up. And maybe that can light a fuel under their butts, right? Get a fuel going, like, hey, let's prove these suckers wrong. But I don't know. They seem a little flimsy to me.
I think that's a really fair point, dude. And I think as supporters, we struggle to differentiate some of these things. Like, for example, I think some of the outlash against Ian Wright, who's an Englishman, suggesting something for the English national team to potentially try out. And then you have an Arsenal supporter from, I don't know, like Nigeria, who feels very strongly. I know Arsenal have a big Nigerian support base, but let's just say that person is out there and is saying Saka should never play left back. How could you like even suggest something like that? And it's like, you got to put your club allegiances aside. And also, you're not even an Englishman. Like, you don't get to comment on some of these. I've seen a lot of stuff coming like from American media commenting on these things. It's like, I don't know. Is that really like for us to worry about? It's really more for them to sort out. And I mean, I'll have an opinion on it, but I'm not going to try to let my club allegiances to try to overshadow that, because I do feel like it's a good suggestion. To Ron's point, yeah. I think, hey, why not? It could unlock some of these things. That's football, man. You try some of these things. I'm not one to treat it that way. Anything else you guys want to talk about from that side of the bracket before we go to the other one? No? Okay. All right. Well, on the other side, you got 5 of the big boys, dude. Belgium, France, Portugal, Germany, and Spain. That 5 making up the 8 on the other side feels like there should be some exciting matchups potentially in the quarterfinals. In the very first round, however, Spain, Georgia. Let's start with that one. I think potentially there is something there after the Georgian performance against Portugal. I do have to give a shout out to Georgia's goalkeeper. What a player. I was very impressed with his performance against Portugal. Kind of exciting.
That's tight. I mean, Georgia, that's tight. Had no clue. I wouldn't have chosen them. I have not watched any of their games, but like, they're the Cinderella, man. You got to have a Cinderella in a tournament. So I'm backing them 100%.
I think that their fun is over now. I mean, look at the team. Like, the Portuguese team is still pretty good, right? But it's definitely not their top team that they played. I think they also got a little bit lucky with the no pen call for Cristiano. He probably should have gotten a pen during that match. And Spain just looks so good, right? And Rodri will be back from his yellow card ban as well. I think that midfield will be solidified once more. They still looked good even without him as well. So my heart wants that to happen, but I don't think that they're going to be able to pull it off against Spain.
This one is fun because they have nothing to lose.
Oh yeah.
Right? They're probably so proud of themselves just to get out of the group. It's huge for them. Huge. They have nothing to lose. Their fans win, lose, get 5 players sent off. They don't care. Like, they're happy with the outcome. So to me, that's a little bit scary for Spain. Like, imagine if they did win this game. Like, that's for them. That's insane. So go on, Cinderella.
Go on, Cinderella. But I'll be honest with you. This is the worst date for Cinderella because Spain, I can't ever see them being in an upset. They're just so methodical and annoying. The way that they play, it's like, they're just not going to succumb to something like that. So definitely I'm backing Spain. But yeah, I hear you. Maybe I'll put a little bet on the underdog just for fun, just for the returns, make something exciting. The other game in that side is Germany versus Denmark. I think it's a sneaky one, to be honest with you, and they play Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern time. I'm still backing the host nation. They're still my team to lift the trophy at the end of it all, and I think it's a good thing that they're going to have some big tests on the way to the trophy.
I said all that stuff about Cinderella, but yeah, I want the Spain-Germany matchup. So I'm gonna go Germany there.
Yeah, I agree. Have Denmark won a match? They drew all 3 of their group matches, right?
I think that's correct.
So
I'll fact check you here. Give me a minute.
I think that they're okay. They're fine. But I think Germany has looked more impressive throughout the tournament. As well. I feel like I trust a little bit more in Germany's offensive output as well. I know I've been talking a lot about that just generally. Denmark looked good, and I think it'll be a challenging match, but I still think Germany comes out on top.
Yeah, I will say Germany, it's a footballing pod, and listen, King Kai, the performances have dropped these last couple of games, big man. So I'm gonna keep it honest with you, bro. Come on out and show him what you're all about in the round of 16, big dog.
Full Krug in, dude.
3 draws. You were correct.
Nice.
Well done.
All right. Well, the next one is Portugal, Slovenia. Do you see Portugal getting upset again in this tournament?
Nah, it's Portugal, man. I think they're on. I want to see Christie score. I'm not even going to lie with you. I want that dude to score. I think it'll be so funny. The biggest shoe in years could be coming, man. He's going to be hype.
He wanted one so bad against Georgia, man. He was trying so hard. You could tell how upset he was when he wasn't scoring. And that's kind of funny to watch, but I think it would also be funny to see him score and just like, even if it's like a pen to make it 5-1 in the 95th minute, this man is going to celebrate with his chest, and he's gonna go crazy. So, I mean, props to him. I mean, it's still going to be impressive regardless, but, I'm also taking Portugal over Slovenia.
Have you been watching all their games, KP?
Portugal, yes. And I mean, they look good. I agree. Against Georgia, they didn't put out their best team. I think I struggle with their midfield. I think they have too many good center mids. So I struggle with their center mid choices and the teams that they put out. Like Paulinho plays 45 minutes. Vitina plays 45 minutes. Neves plays 45. It's like, dude, these guys would be, slot right into to other teams. So I think that could be kind of interesting to see who gets the time. But I've also watched a lot of Slovenia games, and I don't think they got what it takes. Portugal are just gonna steamroll them, to be honest with you.
I think they will. But how's Christie been playing? I think I watched their first game. I watched part of their second. I missed that third one, the Georgia one. How has he been playing good?
I've been surprised by the amount of playing time he's been getting, to be honest with you. The last game against Georgia, I didn't think he was going to start that game or play at all. So for him to end up, I think he played the full game. Did he get subbed off? I'm really not sure.
I think he did get subbed off, but late.
Yeah, like 80th plus. Yeah, so 1000%. for him to play that much, it's kind of like the Messi treatment. Like, he's just gonna play, dude. I don't know what to tell you. He could miss the chip and it doesn't matter. Next game, he's right back in.
But has he been playing good?
Yeah, he has. Yeah.
Does he look good? Okay.
I mean, you saw that, and I mean, he's been unselfish for the first time in his career. Did you see that?
I did see, because that first game, I was like, he's playing a little bit differently than you would think. Maybe he's realizing he doesn't have the physical capabilities anymore. But it seemed like he was trying to get people involved. Maybe I think he got an assist. And he was there for the celebration, which I was like, wow, he was one of the first guys over for the celebration instead of like grunting and wishing it was him.
Hashtag growth, dude.
He did get subbed off in the 66th. That's what it's looking like.
Okay. 66, I still stand by it. I think he's played too much, to be honest with you. The last game against Georgia, he just shouldn't have played. I'll be honest with you. Let's go into the last game. This is probably the best game of the round of 16, so you already know it's probably going to end up being 0-0 and go to overtime. France are playing Belgium. A little bit of history there. I think they got some language stuff that overlaps, maybe some other stuff, so it could be a fun one.
I'll throw it over to Ron since he has the most players involved in that match.
I am going for Belgium. It's more of a vibes thing,
I fully respect that.
I think Kevin is having a really good tournament. I really do. I think that he wants to continue to drive this team moving forward. I think a big miss for Belgium, even though he wasn't necessarily playing that well or making the right decisions, he was still a big threat, was Luca Bacchio, the right wing. He wasn't able to play the third match, and I think that contributed to a big reason why he didn't score, or why Belgium didn't score against Ukraine. Doku, I think, has looked good, but he also has been missing a lot of the end product as well, which is very similar to how he plays for City just generally. And maybe Lukaku will score one day, and maybe it will actually count and not be a VAR goal. I don't think Mbappe has scored an open play goal this tournament, and obviously he missed the second game, but we'll see. But I think Belgium takes it.
This is a tough one, man. I'm looking at their past, like their group games. Neither one have really excelled. So Belgium lost against Slovakia in the opener, beat Romania 2-0, who also went through, and then drew against Ukraine, which that was the last game of the group, so they were trying to win that because they didn't know what was going to happen. But they only got the draw there. So that's like, questionable. And then you look at France. They beat Austria 1-0. That's a big win. And they had two draws, Netherlands 0-0, and then Poland 1-1. They had the better group, which maybe I'll probably give the upper hand to France. I think they're more in form, but neither of them are impressive. I watched Belgium probably the most of any team so far. I caught all of their games, just a portion of that Ukraine one, but just not impressive, man. Not impressive. And I hate to say it, but Lukaku, I just can't trust him. I can't trust him.
Yeah, but put Lukaku aside for a second, Steven, since you've watched all the Belgium games, and listeners who know you're a big Leo Trossard stan, and tough tournament from him, dude.
Tough tournament. First game, I thought he looked really good, but those last 2 games, no, not great. What was that performance? The second game he came on, yikes! He just could not get anything going. Like all of his crosses, he had a few balls that probably should have been on point, on the money. For us, when he is in that position, he does hit it on the money, but he's putting them over the goal line, going past people. You could tell they're getting frustrated with him.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll be honest with you, the third game against Ukraine, I think he played right wing. And
yes, that's the one.
That was, I mean, he does not look good on the right. It was actually super surprising to me, and it just makes more of a case for a Rodrigo to come in and make a difference. I feel like, but we'll see, man. We really still need a winger. But if I were to pick a winner, I think France. I'm excited for William Saliba. He's had a very good tournament. A lot of shutouts from him, and I think he solidified himself. It's so strange that he didn't play in any of their international friendlies, and now he's just suddenly slotted in, and he's just gonna ride it out. It's tough treatment from the French head coach for me.
Yeah, Deschamps. Maybe it's like we were talking about earlier with England. Like, hopefully you say stuff to light a fire under someone's ass. Maybe he was saying all that stuff because he was saying stuff about Saliba like, he doesn't show me enough. I don't think he works in our system. Like, he was making comments, the coach was. And then here comes the Euros and like, all right, you're starting left center back, get out there. So maybe that's what he was just trying to get some going for him.
All right, well, let's play a little game of mystery, man, before we wrap this one up. I can start us off today. I've got a player who has played in England, Italy, and France. This player is remembered for his sensational goal scoring ability when it comes to the highlight reel. This player...
Can I guess?
You want to guess?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Giroud.
Wow, dude. Wow, dude.
The spectacular.
Sniper.
Fucking pick that one out, dude. All right. Who wants to go next?
I'll go. Doing a little different this week. I'm just going to say one words. Just one word descriptions of this guy. I'll give you a couple. I think you guys should get it. Flow.
Balogun.
Flow. Italian. Maestro. Pirlo. Wow. Vamos.
Good job, Ron.
Thank you. All right. Quick mystery man so far. My player played in 9 different countries. Colombia, Argentina, Portugal, Spain, Germany, England, Qatar, Greece, and Brazil. He's married to former Arsenal goalkeeper David Ospina's sister. He was a Puskas Award winner in 2014, and he played under Ancelotti for 3 different clubs.
I'm going to need a nationality at minimum.
You know, I know all of the Puskas winners except 2014. That's crazy.
He won his Puskas award by scoring a goal at the World Cup.
James Rodriguez.
Yes.
James, yeah.
He's still playing.
Let's
Colombian.
go.
Okay.
Dude, we are getting good at mystery, man. Uh-oh.
Is he still playing? Who's he play for?
Oh, Colombia. He had an assist in the first match, I think.
2 assists.
Who's he?
2 assists.
Who does he play club-wise?
He plays for Sao Paulo in Brazil.
Oh, okay. Wow. After that Everton stint, I guess I wasn't keeping
Yeah,
track.
he played
of him.
for Ancelotti at Madrid, Bayern, and Everton.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't realize
What
he
a
played in
player.
Qatar. That was kind of a shout. All right, so before we really do wrap up, I did want to just give a moment to maybe talk about any rumors. Have you guys seen any rumors or anything that's grabbed your eyes lately?
I do have one, and this is for I just thought I'd mention this because it's for a former Arsenal guy, and we have a sell-on clause for him. Have you seen it?
I think I know what you're talking about. Is it official?
It is not official yet. It's just, I think it's in the ether, but it sounds like it's got some movement behind it. I'm just pulling up the link here on X. From Simon Johnson. So, Amari Hutchinson, he's one of our youth guys. That was always, he's on the bench, but he doesn't get to play. Ipswich Town, since they're coming to the Prem. Initial 20 mil plus up to 2.5 mil in add-ons. Arsenal will receive a percentage of the fee due to the sell-on clause inserted in the deal when Hutchinson moved from Arsenal to Chelsea in 22. So this guy, I think he did play, he made some appearances for Chelsea, but 22 mil. 22 mil for this kid. And then we talk about someone like Nketiah, Reece Nelson. We get 22 for this guy. Well, for damn sure we should be able to get some money for a few of our other folks.
Yeah, that's one of the things, Steven. I saw some of the recent rumors saying that Arsenal have slapped a 50 million price tag on Eddie. I think they're expecting 40 million still for Emil. I think put Emil aside, but 50 million from the club asking for Eddie. What's your reaction to that, big man?
No. I think it was a couple weeks ago we played quick on the draw, and I said 20 mil. And I might have been overshooting it. I would be happy with and man, if we got rid of him for like 30, that would be stellar business in my opinion.
Maybe you have to put the price tag at 50 to get a 30 million offer. I don't know, but yeah. I also think 50 million, dude, he's a goal scorer, man. He has Premier League experience. It's a tough one. 50 mil, maybe he's asking too much. Did you see the news that a few of the Arsenal players are linking up with Mikel in Marbella for a little preseason camp?
I did. Some of the boys, they just can't stay away. La Familia, man.
Yeah, but like 3 of them, bro, are Eddie, Smith Rowe, and Nelson.
Yeah, making sure they're healthy and ready to go.
Ron, you want to share any Man City rumors that have come up recently, or should I just end the pod here?
Relax. It's been pretty dead for us. Honestly, it's been more about sales and stuff. Sergio Gomez should go. We'll get a sell-on fee as well for Douglas Luiz because he's going to be going to Juventus. And fun thing as well, Weston McKennie, USA man, will be coming to Aston Villa, it looks like.
So how does that work? Because it was 2 players, right?
Yeah. So my understanding of it, and I could be wrong, but my understanding of it is that they still have to give player valuations, like a player fee evaluation in order to make the swap. And so, if you swap both for 30 million, for instance, if like you would sell McKinney for 30 and you'd get Douglas Luiz for 30, or you put the 2 players, you still have to have a valuation on the player. So whatever the valuation that's placed on Douglas Luiz, we'll get, I think, 20% of that.
Okay. I'm glad to see him back in the Prem. I like Weston McKennie, but when he was at Leeds, and I think you had called this out, Keon, maybe you had, like you did not think he was very impressive.
I didn't think he was very impressive Thursday night against Panama, to be honest with you. So for me, like, I don't want to open this whole can of worms again, but why is Musa not playing against Panama?
Ooh.
So don't get me started, man. I'm trying to wrap this
Open that can of worms. Open it. Open it and dump it out. Right on Berhalter's chest.
Dude, the worms are all over his chest, bro. But we're going to need to wrap this one up. Obviously, everyone who's listening, thanks for spending time with us. As always, we do appreciate it. And if you like the podcast, please rate or leave a review. It really does help with the algos and getting us in front of new people. And also, enjoy your weekend, right? That's the bottom line. Have an amazing weekend. And make sure you're subscribed, because on the next episode, hopefully we'll be able to roll out a new communication system where you can just text the show instead of having to send us emails. So we're pretty excited to roll that out.
Be easy.